Hello and welcome back to the Impression Wiz channel. I'm your host, the Impression Wiz, and today I thought I'd do another tutorial, sort of. I'm going to talk to you about alternate universes, and maybe how to do voices for these alternate universes. Kind of how to think about alternate universes is kind of take the concept of the alternate universe. Let's say, for an example, we have undertale and then we have underswap. Now the idea is pretty obvious there. Certain people have their personalities swapped in such a way. And in this one, it's technically like certain couples have their personalities swapped. One notable one being Papyrus and Sans. So to do certain like swaps like that, let's say, it's a personality swap, not necessarily a vocal swap. So, kind of putting two and two together, sort of. I mean, sometimes even personality, when it swaps, the vocals change a little bit. Let's take Sans, for example. Sans, what I normally do for just regular Sans is he's about down here and pretty slow and not very energetic. But when we decide to go underswap Sans, he is very energetic and very lively. But you see, it's still in the lower register. It's just more energetic and hyper. The same thing goes for Papyrus, actually. I, the great Papyrus, am pretty full of energy and am willing to be very gentlemanly-like. But some people say I might be somewhat hyper in some cases. But when we decide to flip the personalities around, slow down Papyrus a little bit, make him not as energetic and make him a bit more lazy. Well, it kind of lowers into a similar range for Sans somewhat, but it's still Papyrus, just slower. And that's just one example. Another example, another example of an alternate universe where it's not necessarily a flip of sorts. A lot of alternate universes is some kind of a flip, like either personality flips of two characters to one side or the other, like Sans and Papyrus, as one example, or a whole shift of like the whole like series, let's say, like My Hero Academia is probably one where you take all the heroes and flop them to villains and vice versa. But then you have alternate universes that are canon, like let's say the Spider-Verse. That one is probably easier to do for alternate voices because there's certain examples of those alternate things. But if there wasn't, it might be a little harder to do. But basically, it's trying to take a certain character and putting them in the mindset that isn't natural necessarily to them, but would be in a flipped universe. Oh, I don't want to use another Undertale example, but this is the only best example for alternate universe. Well, I could also use Homestuck, but I think Undertale's a little bit easier because I have two fairly canon characters that are easy to flip and flop in certain cases. Let's go Underfell. And there's also, I guess, Flowerfell, but I don't understand that one because I don't follow it that much. So let's stick with Underfell. Undertale is taking all the characters and putting them at their darkest. Not necessarily the most evil, but darkest place. And usually for me, like going to a darker thing, it kind of depends on the character. For let's go Papyrus again. Going from the original Undertale to Undertale, usually it's a bit more dramatic and a bit more gruffer. And Sans is another example where it goes about like this to about this. He's actually a bit more tired because he has a lot of bullshit he has to deal with. But then also, he's willing to rough somebody up, if you know what I mean. But those are just a few examples. I hope this kind of helps get the idea of alternate universes across. That's about all I have on them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps in the future. If you liked it, please put a like on the video. If you want to see more of my content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything I upload. And as always, I will see you Wednesday.